The 1989 United States of America $quarter coin holds an important place in the history of modern U.S. coinage, representing the traditional design era before the revolutionary changes brought about by the state quarters program in 1999. Minted as part of the Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the 1989 quarter carries both historical and numismatic significance. The obverse front of the coin features the well-known portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. This design was originally selected in 1932 and had remained largely unchanged up until the late 20th century, apart from minor adjustments in detail and relief. The portrait depicts Washington facing left, with his hair tied in a queue at the back, a style typical of the late 18th century. Above his portrait is the inscription, "Liberty," symbolizing one of the core values upon which the United States was founded. To the left of his neck appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," which became mandatory on U.S. coins in the mid-20th century, and below the bust is the year of mintage, 1989. The mint mark, if present, would be located to the right of the ribbon at the base of Washington's neck, indicating the mint facility where the coin was struck. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco for proof coins. The reverse back of the 1989 quarter features the classic heraldic eagle design, also created by John Flanagan. This design shows a bold, stylized eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons, symbolizing the nation's readiness to defend itself, while beneath the eagle is an olive branch, representing a preference for peace over conflict. Above the eagle's head appears the phrase, "United States of America," and immediately below that is the national motto, "E pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one, a reference to the unity of the states forming one nation. At the bottom of the reverse side is the denomination, $quarter, clearly indicating the coin's value of 25 cents. The edge of the coin is reeded, featuring 119 raised ridges, a characteristic intended historically to prevent clipping or shaving of precious metal from the edges of coins. The 1989 quarter was minted primarily for circulation in two major facilities, Philadelphia and Denver, along with a smaller number of proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. The Philadelphia Mint did not place a mint mark on circulation coins in this period, so a 1989 quarter without a mint mark originates from Philadelphia. Denver coins bear the D mint mark, while San Francisco proofs bear the S mark and were struck using special dies on polished planchettes to create a mirror-like finish for collectors. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters, as did the Denver Mint, reflecting the heavy demand for circulating coinage in the late 1980s. The San Francisco Mint produced significantly fewer proof coins, making them more desirable among collectors for their sharp details and higher quality strike. Composition-wise, the 1989 quarter, like all U.S. quarters struck for circulation since 1965, is made of a cupronickel-clad composition, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This gives the coin a total weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. Prior to 1965, U.S. quarters contained 90% silver and 10% copper, but rising silver prices led to the shift toward this clad composition, which remains in use for standard circulation quarters today. The choice of cupronickel ensures durability in circulation while maintaining a silvery appearance. From a historical perspective, the 1989 quarter represents a transitional period in U.S. coinage. It was part of the long-running Washington Quarter series that spanned from 1932 until 1998 with the heraldic eagle reverse, after which the design was replaced in 1999 by the 50-state quarters program, which introduced rotating reverse designs for each state. Thus, the 1989 quarter belongs to the final decade of the traditional Washington Quarter design era. It does not commemorate a specific event from 1989 but serves as a continuation of the series, ensuring the availability of 25-cent coins for commerce during that year. In terms of collectibility, Most 1989 quarters found in circulation today hold only their face value of 25 cents, as their mintage was high and they remain common. However, uncirculated examples graded MS-65 or higher, or proof specimens can carry a premium among collectors. High-grade uncirculated pieces with sharp details, no wear, and full mint luster can fetch a few dollars depending on the market. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, particularly those in pristine condition, may also carry additional value. Collectors often seek coins with strong strikes, full details in Washington's hair, and no significant contact marks. Errors and varieties from 1989, though not exceedingly common, can also increase the value dramatically. These may include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchettes, or coins struck on the wrong planchette. Such errors are typically highly prized by numismatists. The circulation of the 1989 quarter reflects the economic landscape of the late 1980s United States, a period marked by economic growth under the Reagan administration transitioning into the George H. W. Bush presidency. Millions of these coins were used in daily commerce, from vending machines to toll booths, and remain in circulation decades later, though often worn. As a result, well-worn 1989 quarters are not rare, but they hold nostalgic value for many Americans who grew up during that time. They are also a staple for coin roll hunters, who search through rolls of quarters from banks to find older dates, errors, or high-grade coins. Culturally, the Washington quarter has always been a prominent symbol of American heritage, given that George Washington is not only the first president but also a figure representing leadership, independence, and the founding of the nation. The 1989 quarter, carrying this familiar design, played a role in preserving that symbolism for nearly 7 decades until the design overhaul in 1999. Many people from the era remember using this exact style of quarter for arcade machines, payphones, laundromats, and public transportation, making it a nostalgic piece of everyday American life in the late 20th century. Today, numismatists categorize the 1989 quarter as a modern clad issue, and while it is not considered rare in average circulated condition, it holds value as a representative piece of U.S. coinage history. Collectors often include it in date and mintmark sets, especially those trying to complete a full run of Washington quarters from 1932 to 1998. Proof sets from 1989, containing the S. mintmark quarter, are also sought after for their collectible presentation and pristine condition. To summarize, the 1989 U.S. quarter dollar coin is a 25-cent piece featuring the classic John Flanagan portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle reverse, struck in copper-nickel-clad composition, produced in vast quantities for circulation at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with proof coins from San Francisco. Its historical significance lies in its representation of the pre-state quarter era, its connection to a long-running design tradition, and its enduring role in commerce and culture. While not inherently rare, it remains an important collectible for those interested in late 20th century American coinage, and high-grade or error examples can command collector premiums. Next coin. The 1988 United States of America quarter dollar coin stands as a significant representative of the long-running Washington quarter series that had been in continuous production since 1932, serving both as a functional piece of currency and as a cultural artifact reflecting the economic, artistic, and historical context of its time. The quarter, valued at 25 cents or 1/4 of a US dollar, was a critical denomination in everyday commerce during the late 1980s, a period marked by rapid economic changes, technological evolution, and a continuation of traditional coinage before the dramatic transformation of U.S. quarters that began with the 1999 State Quarters program. The obverse front of the 1988 quarter features the iconic left-facing portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. This design was introduced in 1932 to honor the Bicentennial of Washington's birth and had become an enduring symbol of American identity by 1988. Above the portrait is the bold inscription, "Liberty," underscoring the nation's foundational principle of liberty. To the left of Washington's profile, the national motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed, a standard feature on U.S. coinage since the mid-20th century. The year of mintage, 1988, is positioned below Washington's neck, and to the right of the bust is the mint mark indicating the facility of origin, P, for Philadelphia, D, for Denver, or S, for San Francisco proof coins. If the coin bears no mint mark, it originates from the Philadelphia Mint, which in this period did not include a P mark on certain issues before later years standardized it. The reverse back of the 1988 quarter features the heraldic eagle design that had graced U.S. quarters since 1932 and would continue until 1998, before being replaced by the rotating designs of the state quarters series. This reverse, also designed by John Flanagan, depicts a boldly rendered American bald eagle with wings spread wide, a symbol of freedom, power, and vigilance. The eagle clutches a bundle of arrows in its talons, representing strength and readiness to defend the nation, while beneath it lies an olive branch, a symbol of peace. Together, these elements convey a balance between defense and diplomacy, a hallmark of American foreign policy ideals. Above the eagle arcs the inscription, United States of America, while just below it appears the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, signifying the unity of the states forming a single nation. At the bottom of the coin, the denomination, quarter dollar, clearly states its face value. The coin's edge is reeded, featuring 119 raised ridges, a design originally intended to prevent the illicit practice of shaving or clipping precious metals from the edges of coins in earlier times when quarters contained silver. The 1988 quarter was produced primarily at two major mints for general circulation, Philadelphia and Denver, while the San Francisco Mint struck proof versions specifically for collectors. The Philadelphia Mint's coins typically bear no mint mark for this period, while Denver coins display a D, and San Francisco proofs bear an S. Proof coins are struck using specially prepared dies on polished planchettes to create a high-contrast finish with mirror-like fields and frosted details, making them highly sought after by collectors. Mintage numbers for the 1988 quarter were in the hundreds of millions for both Philadelphia and Denver, reflecting the robust demand for quarters in commerce during the late 1980s. San Francisco's proof production was far lower, numbering only in the millions, which is typical for collector-focused issues. Compositionally, the 1988 quarter, like all standard U.S. quarters struck from 1965 onwards, is made from a clad composition consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition was introduced after the Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from circulating quarters due to rising silver prices. As a result, the coin exhibits a silvery appearance while being composed mostly of copper. The specifications include a weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. The coin was designed for durability in circulation, as the copper-nickel alloy resists wear and corrosion better than its silver predecessors. From a historical standpoint, the 1988 quarter falls near the end of the traditional Washington quarter era, which ran uninterrupted from 1932 to 1998 using the same basic obverse and reverse designs. It represents a period in which U.S. coinage remained largely traditional, prior to the explosion of collector interest that would be sparked by the 50-state quarters program a decade later. There were no major design overhauls in 1988, rather, it was a continuation of an established series that had become a familiar sight in pockets, purses, and cash registers across the country. The economic context of 1988 was one of growth, following the economic policies of the Reagan administration and during the last year of Ronald Reagan's presidency, transitioning into George H. W. Bush's term. In terms of collectibility, the 1988 quarter is considered a common coin. Most examples found in circulation today are worth only their face value of 25 cents, given the high mintage and the fact that they are not composed of silver or other precious metals. However, numismatists value certain specimens for their condition, rarity of errors, or proof status. Coins graded at high levels, such as MS-65 mint state or above, can sell for a few dollars, particularly those with full mint luster and no significant contact marks. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially those still in their original proof sets, often have a higher value, sometimes several dollars depending on market demand. Error coins from 1988, such as double-die obverses, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or coins struck on incorrect planchettes, can command significantly higher premiums among collectors, depending on their rarity and the severity of the error. Culturally, the Washington quarter of this era holds nostalgic value for many Americans who remember using it for payphones, vending machines, arcade games, laundromats, and public transportation during the 1980s. The heraldic eagle reverse symbolized a period of stability in U.S. coinage before the experimental and commemorative designs became widespread. For those building date and mintmark collections of Washington quarters, the 1988 issue is a key component of the late clad period. Today, the 1988 quarter remains in circulation, although many are now worn and lack their original luster due to decades of use. Collectors often seek out uncirculated rolls or proof sets to obtain pristine examples for their collections. While it may not be a rare or high-value coin in its standard form, its importance lies in its place within the broader history of U.S. numismatics as a continuation of the Washington quarter legacy. It bridges the gap between the silver-era quarters of pre-1965 and the modern commemorative designs of the 21st century. To summarize, the 1988 United States quarter dollar is a clad composition 25-cent coin featuring John Flanagan's enduring portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, struck primarily at Philadelphia and Denver for circulation and at San Francisco for proofs. It weighs 5.67 grams, measures 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. While not rare in typical circulated condition, it remains an important and widely collected piece of U.S. coinage history. High-grade uncirculated specimens, proof issues, and error varieties represent the most valuable forms of this coin for collectors. Its role in everyday life during the late 1980s and its place as a precursor to the design revolution of 1999-2008 state quarters make it a noteworthy collectible for both casual hobbyists and dedicated numismatists. Next coin. The 1776 United States of America half-dollar coin is a fascinating subject in numismatic history, but it is essential to understand that no officially authorized United States half-dollar coins were struck in the exact year 1776, as the United States Mint itself was not established until 1792, and the first official half-dollars were minted in 1794. However, the year 1776 is of immense historical importance, as it marks the year of the American Declaration of Independence, when the 13 American colonies declared independence from British rule on July 4, 1776. Because of this significance, coins and medals bearing the dual date 1776-1976 were later issued as part of the United States Bicentennial celebration in 1976, including the famous Bicentennial half-dollar featuring Independence Hall on the reverse. Still, during the Revolutionary era itself, there were no official U.S. half-dollars. Rather, the colonies in the Continental Congress relied on foreign coinage, like Spanish mill dollars, and privately issued or locally produced tokens and currency. So, when one refers to a 1776 U.S. half-dollar, it often points to either colonial-era private issues, patterns, or later commemorative coins honoring 1776. The first official U.S. half-dollar coin was the flowing hair half-dollar, minted in 1794 and 1795, followed by the draped bust design beginning in 1796. Before this, in 1776, the colonies primarily circulated foreign coins such as Spanish reals, pieces of 8, French écus, and various British coins. There were also continental currency coins or medals issued in 1776, sometimes called continental dollars, which were made of pewter, brass, or silver and bore the date 1776. These pieces, though not officially denominated as half-dollars, are often mistakenly associated with U.S. coinage of the period. They feature inscriptions such as continental currency, mind your business, and designs symbolizing the unity of the 13 colonies. If we look at the modern representation of a 1776 half dollar, it is usually the 1976 Bicentennial Kennedy half dollar that collectors refer to, which carries the dual date 1776-1976. This coin was issued to commemorate 200 years of American independence and featured a special reverse design of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, designed by Seth G. Huntington, replacing the usual presidential seal reverse. The obverse retained the portrait of President John F. Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts. These coins were struck in both clad copper nickel and 40% silver compositions, with mint marks from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The standard circulation strikes were made for everyday use, while the 40% silver versions were sold to collectors in special sets. The specifications for the Kennedy Bicentennial half dollar were a weight of 11.34 grams for the copper nickel version and 11.5 grams with 40% silver content for the silver-clad version, a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, and a rated edge. From a historical perspective, the concept of a U.S. half dollar in 1776 is more symbolic than literal. The year represents the birth of a nation, and numismatic items associated with that date are highly collectible, whether authentic period continental currency coins or later commemoratives. Collectors often seek out any dated 1776 because of its historical resonance, but genuine coins struck in that year by an official United States mint do not exist. Only foreign issues and colonial tokens do. The first true half-dollar coins, as mentioned, came nearly two decades later. The Bicentennial 1776-1976 half-dollar has become one of the most recognized and collected modern U.S. commemorative coins. Hundreds of millions of these were struck in circulation quality at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and millions more were produced in proof and silver versions at San Francisco. Most are still worth only face value in circulated condition due to their high mintage, but uncirculated or proof examples, especially those in original packaging or graded MS-65 and above, can have modest collector value. The 40% silver versions are worth more because of their silver content, with values fluctuating according to silver market prices. Culturally, a coin with the date 1776, especially when paired with the image of Independence Hall, represents more than just currency. It is a reminder of the struggle for freedom, the drafting and signing of the Declaration of Independence, and the birth of the United States as a sovereign nation. Many people keep the Bicentennial half-dollars as keepsakes or heirlooms, passing them down through generations as a symbol of American heritage. To summarize, while no true U.S. mint half-dollar was struck in the year 1776, numismatists recognize that this date is tied to important coinage history through continental currency pieces of that era, and the later Bicentennial half-dollar coins issued in 1976 with the dual date 1776-1976. The latter remains the most accessible, 1776 half-dollar, for collectors and history enthusiasts alike, featuring Kennedy on the obverse and Independence Hall on the reverse, minted in both clad and silver versions. It weighs either 11.34 grams clad or 11.5 grams silver, measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter, and has a rated edge. While common in circulated form, high-grade and proof versions, particularly the silver issues, continue to attract collector interest.